Hey everyone, this is PJ from the Last American Pubcast, bringing you a story out of Canada today. So if you've watched the pubcast, you've probably heard me call the left a death cult. And I know that it sounds a bit extreme. Who would think that the proponents of socialized medicine and the population bomb lie could ever be considered a death cult? But let's look at what they're saying over here on the National Post today. It says, Canadian doctors encouraged to bring up medically assisted death before their patients do. A guidance document produced by Canada's providers of medically assisted death states that doctors have a professional obligation to bring up MAID, medically assisted death. Yeah, because that's what I want when I go to the doctor. I want to say, hey, doc, I got some issues. What can we do about it? I guess we could treat it, or we could do death about it. We could do suicide about it. That's an option. It says in most jurisdictions in the world with legalized euthanasia, doctors are explicitly prohibited or strongly discouraged from raising assisted dying with a patient. I wonder why. Wasn't there that thing called the Hippocratic Oath, the whole do no harm thing? I guess America probably threw that out as well when we decided to kill 65 million babies in this country. But continue, it says, a guidance document produced by Canada's providers of medically assisted death states that doctors have a professional obligation to bring up MAID as an option when it's medically relevant and the person is likely eligible as part of the informed consent process. Contact your doctor about MAID today. Find out if you're eligible. Side effects may include slight discomfort, loss of brain activity, and death. There is no legal restriction on who can raise the subject of MAID with someone with a grievous or irredeemable illness, disease, or disability. That's right. Canada believes that if you're disabled, you are irredeemable, provided the intent is not to induce, persuade, or convince that person to request an assisted death. Because that's obviously, that's a good guideline there. Obviously, we're just saying, hey, we got some options here. One of them's kill yourself, but we're not trying to persuade or convince you to do that. We're just going to call you irredeemable and say you're eligible for death and present that as an option, but we're definitely not pushing you to do that. Please do that. Yeah, wow, Canada. Nice job. But some ethicists argue that introducing death as a treatment option without the person suggesting it first is seriously problematic, especially within the expanded realm of MAID, and that people could be unduly influenced to choose to have their life intentionally ended given the power dynamics of the doctor-patient relationship. Funny how we forget about power dynamics when it's things like doctors just saying, hey, this is the treatment options I have for you. I'm the expert here. You're irredeemable. You're eligible for suicide. I'm not pushing it, though. I'm not pushing it. Some people, no matter how well handled, this is a quote here, it says, some people, no matter how well handled your conversation, may infer that it is essentially a suggestion. Because it is a suggestion. They also would definitely infer that they have the strong potential to meet eligible criteria, or they wouldn't be offering it. Well, what is this criteria that they have for death? Let's read on. It says a CAMAP document was created and published in early 2019 when MAID was still restricted to those whose natural death was reasonably foreseeable. However, it remains a guide for doctors and nurse practitioners navigating MAID as eligibility criteria expands. Yes. So Canada is just upping that eligibility a little bit every day. Again, the people who believe that the world is overcrowded, they believe in socialism, they couldn't be they literally are the same people who brought up the death boards. But they're just expanding the criteria. So it's not just people who are going to die. It's those irredeemable disabled people, those ugly wheelchair people that they hate. Irredeemable, awful, terrible people. We're just going to keep expanding. Maybe we'll expand it to the poor next. We've already done that as far as abortion goes. Remember, if you could grow up poor, it's better that we just kill you. I mean, next, maybe you could be born a Virgo or a Virgo or a Leo or a Capricorn or something, and nobody wants a Capricorn. I guess, I don't know. Astrology's retarded. But that's where the that's not unlikely to see where the expanded criteria is going at this point, as we've seen with the way we expand our conversation around abortion. It's the exact same issue. If you could be born with Down syndrome, if you could be born disabled, if you could be born poor, if your parents might not love you, that's good enough for us to kill babies in America. So why is it not good enough to end your life in Canada? It seems that's where they're going. It says that the subject of bringing up MAID is the topic of one of the components of the new MAID curriculum under development, and it was part of a free professional development webinar for healthcare providers this week. What an interesting webinar. Go, hey docs, this webinar today is about how we can suggest in a careful way that your patients have no hope, no value, are irredeemable, and how we can just go about just wiping them off the face of the earth. Just a nice Hippocratic Oath style conversation about how we're going to care for our patients. We've been working on this for quite some time, said CAMAP's vice president, Dr. Konya Troughton. Yeah, I believe they've been working on that since 1939, if I'm correct. Canada's assisted dying laws state that no healthcare professional commits an offense if they provide information to a person on the lawful provisions of medical assistance in dying. Canada's MAID providers and assessors said that there is no provision in the law that prohibits clinicians from initiating the discussion and raising the possibility of MAID. So nothing in the law against your doctor just looking at you and saying, I just don't like your face. I think you'd be better not being here. Not in my office. It's not like I want you to pay me. I want you to come into my office and pay me for the visit. I want you here, but I just don't want you, alive anymore. So let's work on that treatment. Forget penicillin. Forget any type of medicine. Let's just go all the way to the nuclear option on this one, because that sounds like a reasonable thing for a doctor to do. The clinical perspective of the meaning of the word counsel has no bearing on the legal meaning. The timing should be at the discretion of the doctor, the group recommends. In almost all cases, it would be inappropriate immediately upon delivering of a grim and irredeemable diagnosis, they noted. However, once options for all treatment options included cessation of treatment are presented to the patient, it would be appropriate to disclose the availability of just killing yourself. We have to make sure that people are aware of their options, Troughton said. Awareness is not the same as coercing them or pushing them in that direction, forgetting that earlier line about the power dynamics of a doctor-patient relationship, and forgetting the fact that these people already are feeling hopeless and the doctor is suggesting to them, hey, maybe you are hopeless. Maybe there's nothing we can do. Maybe there is, but this is an option. It says awareness is not the same as coercing or pushing them in that direction. Yeah, I'm calling BS on this. Canada, leftist socialist medicine has failed. It doesn't work anywhere in the world. Death boards have always been a part of that for all time. But yes, please, Greta Thunberg, tell us how we need socialist medicine in America. This right here might be actually my favorite line, and we'll end on this. It says, MAID would never be raised solely in and of itself, she said, but within the context of discussing goals of care and values clarifications. I think we have a very different definition of care, and we have a very different value set. It says there shouldn't be any ethical tension in bringing up with a patient that has a serious illness, disease, or disability. What are your goals? What are your hopes? Or lack thereof? What are the things you want done and not done? I think, Doc, killing me is something I don't want done. I think the idea of hope might actually be a better option for people trying to get over an illness or one of those terrible disabilities that they just have to live with for the rest of their life. Again, these people are not going to die. They just have a different quality of life than you. This sounds nothing at all like Nazi Germany. Don't even bring it up. Don't mention it. That's definitely not a thing. Death boards, we're just going to rename them. It's care. It's care. That's the new dictionary definition of care now. Care is killing with kindness, I guess. I don't know. Canada, this is disgusting. America, this is why we don't need socialized medicine. It's why we should reject socialism wholly. It brings about the death boards. It always has. You can call them whatever you want. Stop believing in the socialists. Stop believing in the population bomb lie, and stop voting for the death cult, the Democratic Party.